And you mentioned entrepreneurship is kind of a journey of anxiety. I wonder if you can talk a little bit more about that, because you've been a serial entrepreneur for a long time. What do you mean about this like anxiety component?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a great quote. I mean, it's by Lao Tzu, but I'm going to completely cock it up on that basis, which is, something along the lines of, or the paraphrasing of it is, depression is a sadness on reflection of your past, and anxiety is a sadness for the outcomes of your future, which is why presence is the only cure, right? You stay in the moment, and then you're not really accessing the sadness of the past and what you would change, or the future scenarios of the anxiety that you can't control. And I think a much better quote that I can remember, because I can quote pretty much anything from him, which is Eckhart Tolle, who I told you about last week when we were chatting.
I downloaded the audiobook.
Oh man, you're in for a treat. But so he says this brilliant thing, which is stress and anxiety is a symptom of being here, but wanting to be there.
Being here, but wanting to be there. Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's so simple, but so is everything. He says this is why it's so good, and he said, like, but you can't ever be there. So pure facts is why I think his spiritual work is so poignant, because he speaks and just like talks to you like an adult, and he's very binary. So like you either read his stuff and you're like, this is garbage, or you read it and it all makes sense. And that totally depends where you personally are in a spiritual journey at that point. No judgment, because you can come back to it and it means something to you different at a different time.
Yeah.
But literally it's like you can't ever be there. The only place you can be is here and now. So creating a mental image of where you'd like to be in the future, fine, do that if you want. Your body's here now, so you're not there. And that disassociation with like this battle with like, no, but I want to be there. It's like, doesn't matter. It's not reality. So it's a really nice like distinction of like fact and fiction. And your mind is always playing in fiction, but your body is always in reality, right? You're not literally time traveling. You're not literally in the future. You're not 5 minutes in the future. You're not 3 months in the future. You're literally here. And so the constant like battle there is some of this understanding that can manifest into some anxiety. Now, when you think about it from a, I'm going to literally rip off one of my own tweets, because it just like, I had this realization and it was quite popular, and it sort of made its own version of sense, which is, whether you call it manifestation or you call it a business plan, right? One way or another, you are trying to predict the future. And like different people will call it different things. A neuroscientist will call it, neuroplasticity, right? You call it the brain's ability to change, the brain's ability to think about, how to mold itself into the future that it wants to be tomorrow. But a business exec, at a business school is going to say, create a business plan and think about where you want to be in 3 months, 3 years, etc., and create that. A spiritual person will call it, manifestation. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to imagine the world that I want to live in, and I'm going to write the steps back from it, and I'm going to create a bit of a plan and a path. They're all the same thing, one way or another. They're all the same thing, and they all sort of exist in this world of disassociating to an extent where you are today with where you want to be. And there's always going to be that kind of tension. So if you're an entrepreneur, your job is literally always to be spending time like, who do I need to hire? What do we need to do? Why do we need to do it? How am I going to get there? What money do I need? These are all questions you can't necessarily answer. And so you're constantly like searching in the dark, or looking at YouTube videos, or asking friends like how to unlock these things for yourself. But ultimately, they're all questions that need to be answered for the future you. There is, an aspect where I think time management is so important here. Like, if you overload yourself with spending all your time in that future reality and don't spend enough of your time as an entrepreneur sort of working in the here and now, what you can affect today, that's when things can get a bit out of hand in my experience. And it's just, again, the disassociation with presence and future concepts.